Yo guys, what's up? My name is Ben, back with my latest CTM speedrun on Legendary by Vechs, maybe one of the most famous, if not the most famous CTM map of all time. So back in February of this year, the world record holder at the time, speedycube, put out a bounty for sub 30 on this map. The record was a 34-minute time. So we didn't really know if sub 30 was possible, but maybe with a major reroute it was, and that's just what I did. I completely rerouted the map and decided to see if I could get a sub 30-minute time. And so I'll kind of, as I go through the run here, talk about some of the major changes from Speedy's 34-minute time here. So the first thing you might notice is that I'm actually playing on 1.16. And all the previous records on this map were played on 1.7. This has a lot of different changes that I'll kind of highlight as we go, but you can see the major one there is being able to swim with water fast and being able to sort of exit the spawn area a lot faster than previous runs. I'm actually going across the ceiling here and entering Shards of the Void here. This is a lot faster than what was previously done, which was actually just go through intersection 1. And another big time save is I'm skipping a chest we used to get in intersection 1 that had a flint and steel, which was necessary to do the previous portal route where you entered portal from Castle Nvidia. Instead I found a different way to be able to skip the flint and steel, and that lets me cut a lot of time off of world record just in these first couple minutes here. I'm gonna end up touching white wall here, just under 2 minutes. And I believe the previous record touched white wall around like 3:40 or so, so I'm already over a minute and a half ahead of record, which is pretty cool. So I've got my wall. I also got an ender pearl there. Unlike my previous map that I ran, Waking Up, which has a lot of ender pearls, it has like 20 or 25 in the whole map. Legendary has very few. There's only 4 total ender pearls on the map, and a lot of them are very out of the way. That one pearl I just grabbed is definitely the most convenient, and then there's one more I'll grab on the way, but otherwise that's all the pearls we're going to get from chests. So here I am doing a little staircase, and I'm going to go to the next area, which is Castle Akeda, or Acadia. And I'm going across the roof. This is a lot faster. This was a method popularized by Japonk when he was doing some 1.16 attempts before it was even known that 1.16 was faster than 1.7. So I'm just going across the ceiling of the map here, and that lets me get to the next area a lot faster. So with this wall here, I'm going to use a stone pick just to get in here. This is pretty standard. And then I'm going to use a pressure plate to just hold down the iron door so I don't have to mine the door. We're going to have a wood pick at the top right now. And stone's actually really hard to get on this map early on, so I'm going to be pillaring up here and going back onto the roof in order to get to the next area, which is East Commons. East Commons is what connects intersection 1 to intersection 2. So we're already done with all of intersection 1 here. As I boat through East Commons, I'll kind of talk about the world record history of this map. So the first record was 1 hour 7-minute time by QB, and that used a pretty standard route. The start was actually almost identical to what was done in the 34-minute time, where you enter Nether through Castle Nvidia, but then after the Nether, QB used a standard route where, you know, you just run through the map kind of as you'd expect through the later wolves. So that takes a while. And then Absolute Psychopath came around and uploaded a 49-minute time on this map, as I'm digging here for this third wall here. A 49-minute time, and the main optimization was he used portals, so he mined, I think it was like 60 obsidian. He got an efficiency 4 pick, which you have to mine a bunch of spawners for, but You got efficiency 4, then mined a bunch of obsidian, and then portaled to all the later roles in the map. So that saves a bunch of time. And then from that 49-minute time, Speedy came around, and with the help of some others, such as JR, Crafter Dark, Sea Skull, they did some more minor optimizations to the route, mostly to the Nether section, and maybe some of the portal, like orders. But they optimized the time all the way down from 49 minutes to 34 minutes, and so that's where we are before this run, essentially. So right here I am, small mistake there, but I'm going to intersection 2 now, taking a minecart and organizing my inventory as I go, just pre-crafting some stuff. And all the previous runs used to go Pain Water first, and then Castle Nvidia, and enter the Nether at Castle Nvidia. I don't have a flint and steel though, so what I'm going to have to do is actually go Pain Water last. Now, this is Pain Water right here. I'm going to do a pearl deload, where I throw a pearl in unloaded chunks. And then I'm going to go Castle Nvidia, and then when I'm done with Castle Nvidia, I'm going to load that pearl back in. That pearl deload is only possible on 1.16, it's not possible on 1.7, because 1.7 you need at least like 6 or 7 chunks to unload a pearl. But I think it's any version after 1.9, or I know 1.12 works, but anyway, you can unload pearls with only 2 render distance, which is actually very important. One of the big reasons why 1.16 ended up being so much faster for this route. You can see I do a little crawl digging there, which is a minor improvement from 1.16. And here I'm just going towards Castle Nvidia. I found a more minor time save here, where instead of sort of climbing up into the wall as normal and then fighting through the mobs, I'm gonna do a little clip here to get right to the wool box. Something similar would also be possible in 1.7, by the way. And now, once I have the wool, I'm gonna go ahead and load that pearl back in. Immediately I ender pearled through the lava, and I'm right in kind of the heart of the wool. I'm going to come and grab some TNT here, which is going to be very important later on. Also grab a bunch of food in that chest that I mined. And I'm going to swim. Another advantage to 1.16 here is obviously the swimming's a lot faster, so we can just do Pain Water a lot faster in general than what was done in 1.7. And in here I am building a Nether portal. So again, I don't have a flint and steel, so I need to build a portal somewhere. And I'm going to have to use lava light. So that was kind of the secondary thing I was doing there, as I was clearing out a bunch of areas so that lava could fall down and increase the chance of the portal lighting. Sometimes it lights by the time I'm back, I'd say maybe 30% of the time or so, so I am losing some time here. I'm trying to just spread some more lava and get the portal to light fast enough. I kind of screw up here right now. If the fire did spread, the portal would not light, but here we go. I have it set up, and then it lights right there. So I could have entered sub 8. Instead I enter about 8:17. The previous 34-minute time by Speedy entered like 12.5 minutes, so I'm already like 4.5 minutes ahead of record, or maybe 4 minutes ahead of record, which is pretty crazy. Now we get into the Nether, which is completely different from the previous run. First thing I'm going to do here is come down to this gold ore island, and you could probably guess what I'm going to do here with 1.16. I'm going to barter for ender pearls. So pretty much the main reason I play in 1.16, although there's also a lot of more minor reasons, but the main reason is so that we can get a lot of ender pearls. And instead of making portals to go to all the walls, we're gonna basically abuse the heck out of deloads. So right here, I don't have an iron pick, so I have to use TNT to mine the gold ore. But yet another advantage of 1.16 over 1.8 is that TNT drops 100% of the time. So I can just, get gold that way. And then I get a piglin spawn here. These are all natural spawns, obviously, but usually I get pretty lucky with piglin spawns, or I should say, usually they're in pretty good spots. In fact, that one was in a pretty inconvenient spot, I would say. Right here, I'm just getting some more gold. I'm going to use all my TNT I got 4 from Pain Water, and then I'm actually going to craft a 5th. I have some gunpowder, and I'll need to use that later to collect some diamonds, because I still don't have an iron pick. But yeah, anyway, I'm smelting here, and I'm just hoping for good pearl trades. I really want ender well, yeah, I want ender pearls, obviously, from the barters. There's some other minor things I can get. I can get a fire res, which saves a little bit of time. And I can get some other things too, but I start trading with some other piglins here. The other thing I could get, besides fire res and pearls, is just soul speed boots, which helps just in one section, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, basically, really I only want pearls here. It's like a 6% chance, and you can see I get both pearls and fire res right there. I changed my texture pack with the help of Quiblington to make ender pearls look a lot bigger than they normally do, and that's just so that I can tell when I get pearl trades, because a lot of the times it'll just be stuck in a hole and I can't necessarily tell when I get pearls and when I don't. So went back to my furnaces and got basically the last of my gold here, and I come back and I can see I have 2 more pearl trades, so I got 3 total pearl trades. And I ended up with 17 pearls, stack +1, which is really nice. I'm trying to, ideally I'd like to have like 12 or more pearls, but I can do the route with like as low as 8 pearls, but I just lose a lot of time. So this is actually my best pace ever. I'm leaving the gold island like at 11:20 with 17 pearls. I think previously my best run had been like 11:40 leave with like maybe 14 pearls, so this is really great. Pearl out of the gold island, and we start doing the deloads here. So we deload towards the portal right there, and we'll be using that a lot later on. And now we're going towards intersection 5. Gonna be doing some of these wolves. Keep in mind I don't have any armor still, but turns out these wolves actually aren't that hard. We used to, in the past, clip into Funbox. This is called Funbox, this area. But that's too slow, so I'm just going to run through the mobs here. Ends up being not too risky. Maybe I lose some runs to this, but not a whole lot. I'd say maybe I can get this like 80% of the time. So it's not too bad. It went really smoothly this run. So now I'm going to increase my render distance and load a pearl that I unloaded towards tacos. This is probably one of the hardest areas to do without armor, because there's a lot of gas shooting, but I turned down my render distance back to 2 just to try to mitigate that risk. If gas spawn, they might be just out of my render distance and not shoot at me. So I'm going to use one of the extra pearls I got to pearl out of tacos as I grab a wool, and then I'm going to do a double pearl here. So I want to get on top of the nether roof, and I'm also going to deload a pearl towards that area, which is called Fluffy Bunnies, that I'll be doing later on. So now I'm at the top of the nether roof. This is something that previous runs didn't do at all. Well, most of this nether is something that previous runs haven't done at all, but one of the big time saves is going onto the roof here. And basically I'm going to run all the way to Face of Evil from the nether roof. And this is a big time save, just skipping, going through a bunch of areas with spawners, and just kind of skipping a bunch of staircasing and pillaring and bridging and stuff. It's gonna look really boring. I actually use one of my extra pearls here. It's gonna look really boring because I'm just running, but basically the areas I'm skipping or a lot of running anyway. There's a sort of a bridge parallel to where I'm running. That would be a long run anyway. So right here, there's not too much to talk about. I'm looking at my coordinates here. I'm going at about -780 on my X, and I'm going to throw an ender pearl right about here. That pearl is going to be deloaded towards the Diamond Island, which I'm going to end up getting after Face of Evil. I guess as I'm running here, again, one of the longer sections, talk about what ended up happening with that bounty. So there was a bounty of sub 30 that Speedy put on. It wasn't a lot of money, $50. I did a bunch of routing work and did some attempts. I got at first like a 30, 29, and then Japonk came in and actually got the first sub 30 using a lot of my route. That ended up claiming the bounty, but I kept running after that and optimized the run all the way down to this time 26-16. Basically, not much route changes, just getting a good time. It's hard to get a good time with the luck you need with all the pearl barters. Obviously, you also need good luck with the portal light. So it took a long time to actually get a good run that I was happy with. Okay, so I just boat dropped in the Face of Evil. This is the black wool here. And I finally get some armor, diamond armor. This actually only helps with like one more area, but it's still nice to have the diamond armor. And then I'm going to boat drop further to get the wool that I kind of skipped over, which is the red wool, also in Face of Evil. I'm going to do a risky sequence right here, where I just jump onto the wool and immediately make up my render distance. So this is the big time save in this run. Probably the biggest time save is just how fast the Nether is with all these pearl deloads. So I'm going to deload, or I'm going to load in all the way from red wool to the diamond island here, and then lower down my render distance just so any gas don't come up. So right here I just need enough for a diamond pick and a diamond block, so I can use one more TNT, my last TNT, to get the diamonds I need. And then once I have 9 more diamonds for a block, I'm gonna load the pearl I deloaded towards Fluffy Bunnies. Basically, I've set up this sequence of pearl deloads to get me all the way back to the start of the Nether. I couldn't do this all at once. I couldn't teleport all the way from, say, Face of Evil to, and here's me loading the Fluffy Bunnies pearl in. I couldn't teleport all the way from Face of Evil to the start because it'd be more than like 30 render distance, which is max. You can see here is probably the single biggest mistake of the run. I just fail the wall run and fall in the lava. Luckily I had fire res from the barters though, so didn't kill the run. I lost maybe just like 10 seconds or so there. And then here I'm going to do a clip into Fluffy Bunnies. Stuff like this has been done in runs before, but it works out really well in this route, just because I got to skip this whole area, basically. So I grab that last wall, and then I'm now in range where I can increase my render distance up to like 25 or so, and load into pearl. Or load into pearl, I loaded right after bartering with the piglins, and so I'm back at spawn. Now here I'm going to be doing something very interesting. This is called a tick perfect portal relocation, or it's actually not tick perfect in this case, but I'm doing a portal relocation. This was a strategy found by both me and JR independently. I'll link a video in the description by JR that explains this a lot more, but basically I'm forcing the game to generate portals where I want to generate them. Here I'm doing a double pearl just to get into magma. But anyway, all that was doing is creating a portal in the overworld that's a lot more convenient for me to use by destroying portals as I go through them. But I'll link a video in the description by JR that covers a lot more detail about it and all the potential it has in runs. It's sort of a new tech that has been come up with recently. Again, he and I sort of independently found it, but he understands a lot of the more technical aspects more than me. So here I'm in Merciless magma zone, and I just need to get a wool here and also get my iron armor, or my iron for the monument. Just organize my inventory on the minecart, and then I'm going to drop down here to this island right here. There's actually a pearl in this chest. This is the second pearl I get. That's not for bartering. And I'm going to go ahead and grab all my iron here. Something interesting happens in this run. This run is fastest my fastest run by like 40 seconds up to this point. And so I actually get mob spawns on this island, and I never have before because normally it's daytime when I reach this island. So I kind of have to deal with all these mobs and I get slowed down a bit. Again, luckily I have the diamond armor, otherwise I would definitely be dead. But get all my iron and then pearl across to the wall here where I just dig in. This is an area where portals would actually save time in theory, like just portaling to this wall versus deloading, because deloads basically, you can insta-travel one way. You can see I'm going to load in a pearl back here to teleport out of Merciless magma zone, but you still have to travel all the way in. So, portals would in theory save time, but one of the big disadvantages, in fact maybe the only big disadvantage of 1.16, is that it's harder to get a lot of levels. You'd have to mine like more than 3 times the spawners to get level 30 and efficiency 4. So it ends up that it's a lot faster to just skip getting efficiency 4 and sort of do this last third section of the run without portals and just using pearl deloads. I did look into hybrid routes where I got like, I don't know, efficiency 2 or something, and I'd mine like maybe enough for 1 or 2 or 3 portals, but it's not faster. So it's nice anyway, because mining obsidian and portaling everywhere is slow and boring anyway. Here I'm doing Castle Ira. I'm gonna do a clip here where I just place a boat and have it phase through. I also used a similar trick to just like a minute ago to drop down into intersection 4. And of course, like always, I have a pearl deload I can use to exit the wall, or exit the area as soon as I get the wall. Right now I only have a couple more walls to get. I have Swamp of Despair, which I'm traveling over right now, so I'll dig straight down to get Swamp. This is the one time I fell in lava in this run, unfortunately, but didn't lose too much time at all. So I'm going to deload here and then dig down to Swamp of Despair, and then all I have left is intersection 3 walls. The only, well, I guess there's 3. There's West Commons, Forlorn Rest, and Starbright Cavern. So I'm getting pretty close to the end of the run here. One of the mistakes I made there is I took a bunch of fall damage, and I had to eat before I loaded the pearl back in to make sure I survived. But here's a long running section again, just as I sort of run along the ceiling of West Commons to basically set up another pearl deload and then go ahead and grab Forlorn Rest. Forlorn Rest is another wall, kind of like Magma Zone, that's really far out of the way that potentially would be nice to portal to, but again, it's just not faster with 1.16 enchanting level curves and all that. I guess I'll talk a little bit about just kind of the run overall and where I see this this map going from here. This run was solid. It's definitely not extremely well executed. I would say it's not as well executed as maybe like my Waking Up run or some of my other runs, or certainly some of the other Vechs world records out there. The main reason for that would simply be the luck required for this map. Again, you need to get really good pearl barters and a good portal light. The pearl barters, for example, I think it's like a 23% chance of getting 2 pearl barters, and you not only want to get 2 pearl barters, but you want to get them relatively fast, like I did in this run. And then you also want a good Nether portal light, which is maybe 30%, maybe like close to like 50% chance of having a good Nether portal light. But yeah, the RNG really stacks up. So here I'm grabbing Forlorn Rest. Another thing I didn't mention is I have cut out a couple of the load times in this map. One of them being right here. This is the longest load time. I actually spent over a minute in that escape menu just waiting for this the chunks to load in. So I cut that out of the final run. If you want to, I'll link the raw footage of the recording in the description if you want to see that. It's actually a recording of the whole stream, so you can hear some of my live commentary. There wasn't much, and you can see all the load times in their glory. But here I'm doing West Commons Bowl, which is probably the only chance for this run to die at this point. There's a big mob section down here. I do end up losing a bit of time to bad mobs, but nothing really I could necessarily control. But yeah, end up getting the wool, and of course load in the pearl, deload as soon as I get the wool. And now I only have one more wool to grab. Heading towards intersection 3, which has the last wool I need, Starlight Cavern, and also has the monument. So this overworld route works out really well. Again, we do like all the intersection 1 and 2 wolves, and then go to the Nether, which is a warp all the way. You're not supposed to go to the Nether until like the end of intersection 4. So you warp from intersection 2 to Nether, then you do all the Nether wolves, and then you come back to the overworld where you're at intersection 4. All of intersection 4, and then all of intersection 3. Yeah, I got one more pearl. I'm gonna do a final pearl deload here. I thought I threw this pearl too high. It takes up like all my screen when the resource pack. But yeah, I didn't throw it too high, so I didn't deload it again. These kind of short deloads of only 2 chunks would only be possible in 1.16. Wouldn't be possible in like 1.7 or 1.8. So I've got my last wool, and just going to go to the monument here. Monument is interesting for a couple reasons. First of all, I need to smelt my iron while I'm doing monument, but the more important reason is there's actually lava over the monument in this version. So I need to mine out all the sand and then place the walls in a way where they don't burn. When I was first doing runs of this map, I actually didn't know of a way to stop the wool from burning, so some of my attempts kind of died to the wool burning right after I placed it. Like I'd place a wool and it would burn by the time or before I placed all the wool. But if you just place blocks around the wool, you can actually stop it from burning. I kind of forgot to place blocks here, but went back, placed my blocks, and then mined the last of the sand, and place some more blocks to make sure the wool wouldn't burn. So yeah, just placing all my wool here, and then I gotta craft my iron block when it finishes smelting. And I'll let you listen to my live reaction here. I spent like over 3 months running this map, so I was pretty happy when I got this time. Yes! Let's go! I did it!